Welcome back to This Week. Governor Bill Lee was handed another big political defeat by his own political party. Last year, Republicans did not even debate the governor's proposed extreme order of protection proposal, a red flag law. This year, Republicans killed the governor's signature piece of legislation, expanding school vouchers. The governor was not pleased by the lack of legislative action on vouchers.
Have been very disappointed for the families, as I've said. Disappointed for the families that were hopeful that their child might have the opportunity to choose the right path educationally. Grateful for the parents, for the children who weighed in on this. Very grateful for the members of the General Assembly, especially speakers and leaders, their commitment not only to get this done, but their work to get it done this year, their commitment to finish this and get it done next year. I think we couldn't find the path forward in this session. A lot of times it takes a couple sessions to get something done. There is broad agreement that this needs to be done. I feel confident it will be, but we couldn't put the final pieces together this year. It's increasingly clear across the country that Americans, parents, are believing that this is the way to go. That's why you see state after state after state pass universal school choice. Many in the last few years, and that's why I feel pretty certain that that's going to happen in Tennessee. It won't happen in this session, but it'll happen next year.
Republicans in the House and Senate could not agree on a final version, killing the bill.
There were differences that couldn't be agreed upon, and there wasn't enough time to really work those differences out in the end. I think there's a commitment to getting this done and making sure that everyone agrees. This is something that's really, really important to our state. We got to get it right, and I think the members will get it right. I regret that families don't have a choice until next year. I'm disappointed about that. And I mean, at the end of the day, and really the beginning of the day, this started for me 15 years ago with kids who I believed should have a better chance at success. And since I came into office, we started the very first year trying to create multiple pathways for children, especially, as you know, the low-income children. That's where we started. I won't stop. And because I believe in kids and I believe in the future of I believe in their future and the opportunities that they should be given, the freedom that families should have to make choices, and we'll just continue to work. We've been working on it 5.5, going on 6 years now. We'll keep on working on it.
Republicans who do not support voucher expansion should not expect support from Governor Lee.
Elections are determined based on what people think is important. Policy matters in an election. School choice is a widely popular idea in this state. I think that candidates who understand how important that is to voters will make decisions about their position on that issue. It matters what people believe about school choice. I will continue to be talking to candidates across the summer about their thoughts on any number of issues, but especially on the issue that matters to most Tennesseans, and that's school choice.
Well, will you directly play a role in that? I know Governor Abbott was pretty direct in the Texas battle over this. Will that be something that you'd be interested in doing?
I've always been engaged in primaries in the state whenever there's an election, but I'll certainly be talking to primary candidates about how they feel about school choice.
Governor Lee joined 5 other Southern Republican governors in opposing the unionization of the Chattanooga VW plant by the UAW. They lost that fight.
Oh, I think the workers at that plant obviously have to make that decision. I would not make that decision if I was a worker there. I think it's unwise to put your future in somebody else's hands, but those workers make that decision based on the individual circumstances of that plant. I think it was a mistake, but that's their choice.
Is this a sort of a loss for Republican leaders in the state, most of whom came out against unionizing?
I mean, I think it's a loss for workers. I think we have a really strong workforce here, and I care deeply about the workers in this state. This is the only reason I've spoken into this issue is because I care about workers. I've had a long history with skilled workers. They're in a really good position in our state, and we're going to continue to work to create an environment for them. But like I said, that decision is an individual one that has to be made given the circumstances at their own workplace, and Volkswagen workers made their choice.
A fight it looks like the governor will win is cutting the state's franchise business tax.
I think that we have worked really hard on that, on making certain that we do right by Tennesseans on the franchise tax. We have to make sure that we have a bill that is legal. We have to make sure that our tax structure in Tennessee is constitutional, but we also have to make sure we have a tax environment that continues to be attractive to companies. We have some of the largest companies in the world making decisions to invest here, as you know. Part of that is our tax structure. So we're trying to maintain that tax environment that makes us one of the best states in the country to do business. And if we pass this piece of legislation, that will be the case.
And what happens if you don't pass this legislation?
Well, I think that would be a big mistake, but I suspect that we're
that-
going to. I mean, we are going to pass some legislation, right? They're in conference between the House and the Chamber have two different proposals, but they're both intent, and both proposals would pass the legislation just in different forms. So I don't think there's a threat of it not passing. I think it's the form that finally comes out that is important.
Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.